So while they may be fun and cute, some of your child's toys could have hidden hazards.
Yes, and here to educate us and warn on some of the dangers of button batteries is Nurse Christina Paris. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Glad to have you, as always. It's always a fun time when you're here. But how to know if you have a device that uses button batteries? How are we going to know if it's in the toys?
So it just you would have to open it to know. And button batteries are in a lot of things. They're in our key fobs for our cars. They're in toys. They can be in things such as, you know, and I brought a few here, like our calculators. On the back sides of them, you can see the little
so that's where they get those in there.
And they've been using more recently screws, which is good.
Make them more secure.
Right, when I was a kid, yeah, you could just pop things open, you know, nobody cared. But now they are getting a little smarter with putting screws in a lot of these devices. So you do want to watch. And key fobs, or the button batteries, particularly the ones that we're looking for are the ones that look about the size of a nickel.
Yeah.
And and any rechargeable battery also has lithium, and so those can be hazardous as well. But something this size can get stuck in the esophagus of a little one and can burn a hole and cause damage. I mean, this is really life-threatening. So if you know your child has swallowed one, it's a life-threatening issue.
So maybe what are some of the symptoms to watch out for if a child has swallowed a battery?
So if they have, they're going to have, you know, they're not going to want to eat or drink. They might be crabby or irritable. You might hear a wheezing sound or breathing difficulty, coughing, throat pain. They could be choking or gagging, you know, if it's stuck in there and they're just not getting air. They might just be crabby. They might be complaining of pain in their, you know, in their throat, but they can also get things, you know, kids are known to stick things up their nose and in their ears. So it can be, they might have that kind of pain too, maybe a fever, drainage, things like that.
Yeah, it is interesting. Kids, they get into a lot of odd things. You know, thankfully, for whatever reason, as a kid, didn't eat a lot of random items, but my siblings loved eating coins.
Oh, yeah, so, I had a child who did that too.
Yeah, it was, it was very odd, because like my parents loved bringing that up. They're like, oh, remember when, you know, I won't throw my sibling under the bus.
I know,
but they were like, yeah, you swallowed like 68 cents. And
wow.
I was like, what?
That was just their savings account. What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's safe. It's as close as it can be.
Unfortunately, there was no interest.
No, right.
So, if a child does swallow these lithium batteries, or they, you know, are in contact too long with them, what should the parents do about this?
So this is, like I said, this is life-threatening. I don't know if you all can pan down on this, but this was this is a piece of ham that maybe 15-20 minutes ago, we put the battery in here just so that you could see what can happen. And this is just in the 15 or 20 minutes that we had it in there. That's the damage that can occur.
Exactly.
And that's burning that it can burn a hole literally through. And so, yeah, you definitely, you know, if in 20 minutes it's causing that
you
much
see quite the ring
burn.
On that.
Right.
And it's gotten even more intense. You showed us probably like what the beginning of Devon's weather.
Right.
Of what it looked like.
Just in a few minutes, it just does a lot of damage. And having that inside of you, that is an emergency right there.
Absolutely. So you want to get to the ER. If you have honey at home, I know this is really debatable, but everything I've read, you want to give honey, but not just one dose. And I think some of the demonstrations that I showed, they dipped it in honey and it was like, well, look, it doesn't work. Well, you're supposed to give honey, a couple of teaspoons of honey every 10 minutes. But don't delay. Like, don't stop by the grocery store to get honey. Like, get your child to the ER. Because what they need to do is do an x-ray to see where it is. If it's, you know, a smaller, like a hearing aid battery, you know, these really small ones, it may just move through the system fast. But if it's larger, like the ones, the one that I brought in actually came from our dog, our pet's e-collar. So if it's a larger one, you want to get them in regardless. Any kind of battery ingestion, anytime you think there's a burn from a battery, you get them into the ER. They can do x-rays, see where it is, and go from there.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much coming in and telling us about the dangers of batteries. So hopefully people at home, keep an eye on your children, maybe when they're playing with battery-operated toys.
Absolutely.
Keep maybe things like calculators and key fobs away from them. Remotes,
calculators. It's all over the house.
Right, because if it gets broken,
exactly.
it can pop out and you can lose that battery. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing this with us.
Let everybody be safe.
And coming up, we have what's trending, including the new record Super Bowl 58 set over the weekend.
Yes, and plus you get to see who